I made my Twitter when I was 14 years old. And if I'm being completely honest, I only did that so I could keep up with whatever One Direction was doing 3 years ago. But while I did still do that, I also found a more lasting passion: political and social activism. With the click of a button, we had access to literally the entire world, but with that privilege comes a lot of responsibility. However, there are people that use the urgency and immediate satisfaction of social media to their benefit to make lasting societal impacts. An example of this would be the Women's March. With over 4.5 million participants, this march goes down in history as one of the top 10 largest political acts of protest in history. We had one here in Ann Arbor, there was even one in Kenya and even Antarctica. This massive movement started through a single Facebook post that escalated since so many people were passionate about the issue. Another example of people using the urgency of social media for their benefit and for others people's benefit would be when people were being detained in airports after the first travel ban. People started posting about it online, newscasters were there, and lawyers and protesters were able to make it to the airports to file habeas corpus petitions and to make their voices heard immediately, same day, because they knew about the injustice immediately. Now, I'm not saying that everything you post online has to be some great call to action that's going to change the world, because I know that I send out meaningless things all the time. But when you are going to make these types of statements online, there are certain precautions you should take to make sure that your voice is not only heard, but understood and respected. The easiest way to do this is by using a hashtag. For those who don't know, a hashtag, when you put it down your post, usually pertaining to the topic at hand, that post is pooled into a group with others of the same topic. An example of me doing this would be when I live tweeted the presidential debates. While my tweets may not have had great political significance, they did get more views than any of my other ones, and retweets and likes from people not in my social or familial circles, giving me a wider response and reach on social media than just the people who follow me. Whether it's something like the Bachelor finale or the presidential inauguration, no matter the importance, I can guarantee you that lots of people have lots of things to say about it. And I am definitely one of those people. However, with this responsibility, there comes some consequences. Now, this is the word I'm sure you've all heard a million times this year: fake news. Social media just happens to be this clickbait epidemic breeding ground. However, there are ways that you personally can end this and not contribute to this can of worms, by making sure that the evidence that you decide to post online is not just from something your aunt posted on Facebook, but rather something for a reliable and reputable news source like the New York Times or MSNBC. Now, an example of this seemingly perfect tweet that's going to change the world may not exactly do that, but it will make sure that your voice is, again, heard, understood, and respected. An example would be something that I actually tweeted last night. Call your reps. 80,000 people called to oppose DeVos, and that wasn't enough. There is power in numbers. Hashtag call your reps, hashtag TEDxYA2. So you're not only getting information from me, but if you click on either of those tags, you see something about the topic I'm speaking about, as well as the event I will be speaking about it. So, another thing to take into account is, again, the need to be concise. What you have to do, basically, it's hard, but this is what's expected. You have to somehow miraculously fit a 5-paragraph persuasive essay with sources and evidence into 140 characters or less. But how do you do that? Well, the easiest way is to start out by just making a claim, just a short, simple, sweet topic, like with my Betsy DeVos tweet. Then you send out evidence. The evidence I got about the 80,000 people calling to oppose her was from a CNN article. I didn't just find it from another tweet. But if someone decides to use what I say as fact, they'll actually be right. As will they if they decide to use your words as fact, if you follow this formula. The last thing is just to make sure that you add a hashtag so that more people than the ones who follow you are able to see it. Now, does anyone in the audience have a social issue that they care about? In the wonderful jean jacket, what is on your mind?
International feminism.
Okay, this is perfect. I just, for class, read an article from the Journal of, the Pakistan Medical Association about forced marriages and how empowerment through education is solving this. So right now, I'm on my Twitter, and we are going to formulate this tweet together. Okay, so topic sentence. Why don't we say empowerment through education is solving the youth marriage problem in Pakistan? That's basically the gist of the article I read. Now, here's where we have to include evidence, but it needs to be concise. So we're going to say, marriage before 15 years is down to 13%. Hashtag feminism, hashtag TEDxYA2, and tweet. All right? It's just sent out. So if you look on either of those tags, you'll see my tweet, but one's about the event. So not only about TEDx, but also about feminism in general. So the root of political activism lies within the people. So not only do you have a responsibility to spread accurate news, if you do decide to make political statements online, you also have the privilege to be able to make your voice heard. Anyone can make change now. Anyone has that ability. You don't have to be a government official. You don't have to be a high-up executive. You can just be someone like me with an opinion, or an informed opinion. So, just remember, when you're making these statements, keep it clear, keep it concise, and keep it correct. Thank you.